And welcome back to another episode of Cafe Lily, where your hosts, Rosa and Kelsey. And Kelsey and Rosa.
Hello, Rosa. Thank you for having me here. And it's so good to be here today because you know what? I don't know if Yuri gets better than this.
So what did we read this week, Kelsey?
We had some catching up to do. We had to catch up on Favorite of Ours. She Loves to Cook and She Loves to Eat by Sakaomi Yuzaki.
We just had to.
Yeah, I think I was a little bit further behind than you were, so I read volumes 3 and 4, but I think you just read 4. Is that right?
Yeah, I read 4 because I already read 3. Alright, Kelsey, now you open it up since it's been a bit since I read 3.
Yeah, sure. So, just for anyone who isn't familiar with this series, it's a manga series that's basically just a cooking manga that also heavily features a lesbian love story. So, you know, what's better than that? But I read volume 3, and there was a lot going on in that one. It heavily featured 2 side characters. The first one is Yako, who is the main character Nomoto's Twitter bestie.
Of course. And they no longer are just Twitter besties, they're IRL besties too.
Yeah, because they start having calls, they start watching movies together on a Discord or whatever the equivalent is.
And then they started hanging out IRL with their friends.
Yeah, the thing about Yako is that she doesn't really cook that much, but she is a lesbian, so she's like, you know what, I'm gonna hang out with you two and enjoy the food.
And she gives a lot of advice to our main character about her experience as a lesbian and asexual lesbian specifically.
Yeah, that was really interesting. I don't think I've ever seen that brought up in sort of that much detail in a comic before, but it really feels like a very authentic experience and representation.
Yeah. Like, and most people would say this is just like shoving it in, but no, this genuinely help people figure themselves out. They even go over like showing Namoto like checking the internet, looking at different spectrums, sexualities, and researching and training, figure out what fits for her.
Yeah, because that was a plotline early in Volume 3. Nomoto sort of thinks, well, I'm worried that I'm not being a lesbian correctly because I look at media and I don't feel like my experiences are the same as what's in lesbian media. And Yako says, well, there's an option that you might be an asexual lesbian because that's what she is. But then she also says, you know what, everyone's different, so you don't have to feel like you have to be lesbian in one specific way.
And on the other hand, we also have Kasuga like figuring out at her end. She makes friends with her newest neighbor, Sena Nagamo, who's a young woman that been known to have issue eating growing up. That she wasn't too interested in food.
Yeah, this is a representation of eating disorder in a cooking manga, which is interesting.
Yes, it's very important for them to have a character with this perspective because what matters today is people enjoying their meals, how they enjoy them, how they want to enjoy it, and not be forced to. It's just letting people go at their own pace and they have their own specific deal going on. And this is one person who has like a specific way of like intaking food or like how they feel about food. And it's very important to just have empathy for others and just like not force them or make them uncomfortable.
Yeah, Nagumo's an interesting character as well because Kasuga and Nagumo sort of relate to each other a lot because they both have had issues with their families in the past and they're seeking to get away from all of that, and they talk to each other about it and sort of give each other advice and guidance.
Like sharing their experience and like understanding, and also like talking about like having a bit of, let's say, a bit of gay talk.
Yeah, definitely. And the 4 of them, the main couple, Nomoto and Kasuga, and then also their 2 friends, Yako and Nagumo, they sort of become a friend group together and they always hang out.
Yeah, and they're eating. Of course, Kasuga and Namoto are like the ones cooking, while the other 2 are like watchers, like, great, awesome. While, of course, Yako is here to provide when she can.
There was a scene, I think it's in Volume 4, so I'm jumping ahead a little bit, but they decide to have a takoyaki party, and Yako just goes, yeah, I'm gonna buy the takoyaki maker. Let's go for it. And everyone's like, oh, you don't have to do that. And she just goes, no, I'm gonna do it.
And she did.
She's always going all out.
Yeah, it's the very least she can do since everyone else is always cooking.
Yeah, I really liked these 4 characters getting together and becoming friends because I feel like I mentioned this in a previous episode, but I feel like when there's a yuri manga and basically the only gay characters are the main couple, that doesn't feel realistic to me.
And this really helps. I would say a lot of the issues just like they kind of just want to focus on the main two, but it's also needed to like help have different people around to balance it. And the thing about she loves to cook, she loves to eat, is that they genuinely go out and do the research. Because at the end of Volume 4, there's a page where they show off where they research these concepts and ideas.
Yeah, it's a very, very thoughtful comic. There's just so much research that goes into it about things like in Volume 4, one of the topics was housing discrimination against gay couples in Japan.
Yeah. Another interesting thing that started in 3, we've seen glimpses of this throughout the series, but Kasuga doesn't have a good relation with her family. And eventually, we see here that she decided, like, after having a call with her family, then demanding her to come home and then just take care of her father for nothing because they expect her to do everything for her. She decided to cut ties.
Yeah, that was very tough to read. She goes into detail saying like, well, you hurt me in this way and that way, and I'd like an apology for that. And her family basically says, what? No, grow up. And yeah, that was a very tough read, but it felt like it was handled very well in the story.
And it was like very liberating to see her decide, like, listen, like, I'm my own person. I need to live my own life. If you come in and just tell me what to do, I can't. Especially when, like, they're kind of just framing everything. It's like, ew, this is something you have to do. This is something you have to do. And when she doesn't, she has no obligation to, like, just listen to what they say. Like, her enjoying food the way she does is part of her, like, liberating herself from, like, the way her family treated her.
Yeah, it's interesting that apart from, I think, Yako, whose family situation we don't know to my memory, the other 3 main characters have varying levels of complicated relationships with their family. Obviously, Kasuga's is the most extreme, but then Nagumo, her family never really took her eating disorder seriously, and basically their mindset was that she should just get over it. And Nomoto's mother is very heteronormative and keeps saying, like, oh, well, when are you going to settle down and find a husband? And that makes her want to spend less time with her family.
It's very impactful for them to have, like, these different varying conflicts within families. And, like, they're not really all the same, but they all stem from the basis just, like, family conflict, family issues. And it's just like when we have 3 out of 4 being more apparent, it's kind of fascinating because, like, it kind of just gives the idea, like, a lot of people have, like, different family conflicts, and I think there's something to be explored there with everyone.
Yeah, as Kasuga says in the chapter where she first meets Nagumo, she just says, well, families are like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it feels like it's handled very thoughtfully, as always.
Especially with, like, these different kind of conflicts. Now, even though Yako doesn't have, like, specific family conflicts that we are aware of, it goes deep into her identity as a lesbian.
Yeah, that's more of her storyline.
Mm-hmm. It's more specifically in how growing up she did have like a girlfriend back in school, but that would eventually come to a cost because like she wasn't expressing like the typical romantic interests, and she couldn't explain what was going on because she had no understanding of that at the time.
Yeah, that scene was really rough. The specific line that her ex-girlfriend says when they're breaking up, that was just like, oh.
It was so daunting. It was pretty rough. It's like sad, but it shows her as over time she kind of came to understand herself better. But at the same time, it still wishes she could go back and explain to her that like this is what was the reality of it.
Yeah, it's a very sort of moving flashback scene, but also it goes to show that Yako is so much more secure in her identity right now, to the point where she can give Nomoto advice on it.
And really a lot of it just her giving an opportunity for like Nomoto to like comfortably figure it out, to keep herself, not have her like think she needs to be in something specific. Like, you're figuring it out, don't worry. She even says it's like watching a baby lesbian learn how to walk.
Do you want to talk about the scene in Volume 4?
Oh yes.
Look, I need the listeners to understand. We have been doing this podcast for a year now. Only twice has something we've read for the show made Rosa go so mad that they couldn't type anymore and had to send a voice message just crying. And the first time was Ayong and Chaein, and the second time was Volume 4 of She Loves to Cook and She Loves to Eat.
Yes. Sometimes I do that when I really want Kelsey to read.
I was gonna read it. I said I was gonna read it.
I know you were. I just want to give you extra motivation. This is how I give extra motivation. But that scene was beautiful.
Yes, the scene where they finally confess their love to each other.
It was so cute. It was at a very emotional moment because this was when Kasuga told Nomoto that she wants to move out and disconnect from her parents so they would leave her alone. And she asks her to move in with her because at that moment, Kasuga started crying, telling her, I'm with you all the way, I'm here to support you, but I'm going to miss all the time we spent together eating and cooking.
Yeah, Nomoto's like in tears. She's going, oh no, you don't understand. You don't understand. I like you.
And then Kasuga relayed back to her, like, I love you too.
And then they shake hands, which was very funny.
Yeah. And then the next day, Nomoto woke up and thinks, so what are we? Are we official? Did she not know I meant romantically? Oh, I gotta double check with her.
Yeah, she does the, babe, what are we?
It's so funny. And then it's like, oh yeah, we love each other romantically, right? Yeah, romantically.
It's so funny. It's so real.
Right, it's so good.
I did also love Yako and Nagumo during the sleepover pretending to still be asleep so they can give the couple time alone in the kitchen.
That was so good. I love that little panel where Nagumo is just like, I'm awake, but I just like being in bed like this for a bit. And then it just shows like eyes like peering from under the sheets.
There are so many good panels of Nagumo. I feel like her expressions are just really funny sometimes.
Yeah, Nagumo is so great. I love Nagumo's design. I like how they went back into like Nagumo's backstory. That when Nagumo was working, they didn't eat a lot when they went out eating with their coworkers, and then the coworkers decided to start like not inviting it out and ends up isolating Nagumo, which was really sad. But it's very nice now to see that the difference in Nagumo has people who understands her issues and allow her to like take part in ways she feels comfortable. And also brought up the fact that like Nagoma decided to start cutting her hair, and then it became like less feminine, and then people were like, oh, but we like it feminine. And then it goes, nah, I like this better.
Yeah, have they confirmed if Nagumo is gay?
Nagumo is something, alright.
Yeah, Nagumo is something, but I feel like Nagumo's the only one of the group that it hasn't been said outright that she's a lesbian.
We don't really know if anything's going on with Nagomo's gender.
That's a good point.
There's a lot unsaid about Nagomo. It really is. We get there when we get there.
Yeah, I'm very curious. Are they going for a butch angle, a non-binary angle, a transgender angle? What's going to happen?
We'll see.
Yeah, Volume 5 is out in, January, I think?
Yeah, we'll see by then.
Overall, I just want to give a very strong recommendation for this series. And also I recommend to get the print versions because the bonuses are a lot of fun.
Yeah, they explain a lot of like the terminology, the food, and everything with sweet little graphics, which I enjoy.
Yeah, and they have these interludes of details about the characters, and there's one in Volume 4 where it says everyone's profile pics on social media, and Yako's is a morning star, which was so funny to me. Like, she's such a real character. I feel like I know at least 3 lesbians who are just like Yako.
Yeah, exactly. She feels like the most grounded. Well, they're all pretty grounded, but Yako's like, I feel like I know someone like this. It's so fun. Everyone has to read this. If you love Yuri, if you love food, if you love different dynamics and conflicts within families, read this book. Do yourself a service.
Yeah, if you want something that's extremely grounded in reality, go for this. If you're sick of silly Yuri, we like silly Yuri sometimes, but we also sometimes want real Yuri.
Yeah, definitely.
So that was She Loves to Cook and She Loves to Eat by Sakaomi Yuzaki.
Mm-hmm.
And what else did you read this week, Rosa?
Well, I sometimes like to read different Yuri one-shots, like a serving sample.
Ooh, okay. Well, what's on the platter this week?
Alright, let me tell you about a Yuri called Arisa Obsessed with Arisa. It's a short one, 4 pages. But it's about a girl who really likes a girl with the same name. This is by Johan, and you can find these on Dynasty Reader. So I don't want to say too much, it's very short, but I like the art. There's something a bit Tessica about it.
Oh yeah, I see what you mean.
Get that read? It's pretty quick, and it's like, ooh. Now I have another one here. Marrying the Woman I Met at My Ex-Husband's Funeral.
Oh my goodness.
By Johan. And I gotta say, ooh, I like what's going on here.
Yeah, that title is very, very scandalous.
Look forward to it. Now, I got another one by a different author. A Drug That Switches Thoughts and Words by Kuwachi. This is about a girl and her friend. She's stopping by the laboratory to pick her up to go home, and apparently she made special cookies. It's very silly. I really like the line work on this. It's hard to explain, but there's something very graphic about it. I don't know, it's just the way the line work is like very nice.
You're very attentive to that kind of thing.
Yeah. Here's a fun one. By Karuha, Draw Away the Glass Slipper. It's a short run about these two friends. In quotation, they're stopping by a bar after work, and one of them is just like on the other, like a puppy, like a dog. It's like, oh, I love you, let's like hang out, let's go. She's like on her arm, and it's so silly. She's like so silly, and then the woman she's in love with is like just like very stoic. It's so silly. From what I read so far, it's very sweet. It's very fun.
So this is the silly Yuri that's in Counterpart. She loves to cook, she loves to eat.
Yes.
That's alright, we need both.
I found a lot of fun one-shots in such a short time.
Yeah, these all look great.
And there's more, actually. Okay. A senpai who can't stand manga where the girl is considered more attractive after changing her appearance by Ayano Ayano.
Well, I mean, that title just sounds real.
Yes, it's a very fun short one. People will love it. I love the expression on this girl with her passion. Huge respect. And that's all I gotta share this time around. But I do have my eyes on these two. But that's for next time. I'll definitely talk about it next time when I get a chance to read them.
Okay, you gotta save some for the next episode. We can't go through all our Yuri in one go.
Right. Well, I guess that's it for this week. This week was a pretty short one, but I gotta say, it was pretty substantial with when it comes to she loves to cook, she loves to eat.
Yeah, it feels like this is one of the best Yuris that we've had in a while.
Hopefully next time we might have a little bit more to talk about.
Yeah, we'll let you know then.
Yeah, we have to get you out of here before they start coming.
Who?
The migration of those creatures.
This is really scary. I wasn't prepared for this.
No one is. You gotta get out. They're coming. I could hear them. I could hear their little footsteps pattering.
Oh no, I have to get out of here. See you next Yuri.
See you next year. Bye bye.